Welcome, everybody. Welcome to A Call for Love. I am so glad you're here. And if you're new to A Call for Love, then welcome because I have two special guests. And the only time else we've had two other guests is when or 1 year episode, first year of podcasting episode, which these two lovely ladies were actually at. So it's perfect timing. Now I'm going to introduce the first lady, which is Maggie Habieda. And she was actually on the episode is that I shared about the story, Your Brutal Inner Critic, that self-compassion piece. And people, Maggie, the story about me dressed up as the pink bunny, people still come up to me and know that whole story. I will share the link in the episode, but it was, I believe, episode 3 or 4. So I will share that again. But Maggie, why don't you just share a little bit about yourself and then we'll go on to our next guest.
Oh, thank you so much for this welcoming, Linda. I am Maggie Habieda. I'm an iconic portrait artist. I specialize in capturing people's beauty, love, and dreams. And you are one of we've known each other for a very long time, and I photographed you many times, and so did our guest, Sandra. So we're very connected. I know you from every angle, but beyond that, I know you from how beautiful you both are inside. And I could say so much, but I know my introduction is very little. So we can come back to it because I do want to talk about our connection, why we're here today, right? We're
Absolutely. And
very connected.
it's very connected because, of course, there's Maggie. If you go onto my website or you even go onto any of my social media, you're going to see these photos. And Maggie captures the soul and heart of people. And so we will definitely hear more from Maggie. I'm so happy that you're here on A Call for Love. And our next guest had such a popular episode because she was on the episode number 40, From Grief to Growth, sharing her book, Embracing Abundance. And her name is Sandra Tadros. And Sandra, first of all, I want to say thank you because it was my birthday just in October. And I went to your workout class first thing in the morning, and Maggie was there. And we had what a beautiful way to celebrate my birthday. It's just so beautiful. And so I welcome you back to A Call for Love.
Thank you so much. It was amazing to have you there. You crushed it. We had such a good time. High energy music, moving our bodies. Motion is lotion. We had a great time. And as you mentioned about the photos, Maggie has also done all of my social media, my family, my blended family pictures. So you're both so special to me, and I'm really honored to be here to have another great conversation with you. My name is Sandra Tadros Guirguis, as you mentioned, and I am so passionate about wellness, partially from the fact that I had to use every bit of, professional training and personal experience in my own loss, but I see it every day. I work in primary care health and I teach group fitness, as these beautiful ladies have mentioned. And I'm really passionate about public speaking. So I will go anywhere and talk to anyone about practical tips of how they can improve their mental health, their physical health, and their overall well-being.
Yeah, so beautiful. I have to say, the message of A Call for Love is noticing how you're living. Are you living in the lower vibration of stress, fear, and anxiety? And if not, it's a call for love, a call to shift higher. And these two beautiful women live from a high vibration. They have huge, huge hearts. It could make me cry. And so, because there is a lot of love from you two, it requires intentional living. And I know you both live very intentionally. I want to talk today about what word, vibration, or energy you use to really amplify your life to spread that to others. So, whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
I can go, if that's okay, Maggie. Yeah.
Please do.
Okay. So You couldn't have said it better, Linda. How we spend our time is really how we spend our lives, right? What is that expression of it takes 10,000 hours to master something? So, wow, that could be self-care, meditation, a new language, or it could be level of Call of Duty, right? So you can choose how you spend your time, but just knowing where you spend a lot of time is really ultimately how you're living, like you said. And do we need that call? So you asked us kind of about our theme or word, and how I have been really intentionally trying to live has been around the word surrender. And I came across this often, in faith and in different walks. And I came across a Hebrew translation that I loved so much because it said, contrary to what we may think, surrender doesn't mean doing nothing. It just means relinquishing control. And so, as someone who's very type A, I'm constantly just like running forward, right? But my Christian faith is very important to me. And so, I've kind of resolved to say, okay, what if I try to practice humility and stillness? One of my good friends in my prayer group actually has the Bible verse, be still, like tattooed, like right here. She's the same kind of temperament as me. And she says, multiple times a day, I see it on my hand. And I'm like, okay, be still and know, right? So I think practicing stillness and humility is a constant goal for me, and trying to really, and I've noticed it this year, trying not to force any things, still going for everything in every direction, but trying to see where I'm led, if that makes sense, and to not be trying to dictate how everything will go.
Yeah. So what I hear you saying that you surrender to not only your higher self, but a higher source to
Yes,
guide you.
exactly.
Yeah. Which is really intentional. And it's such a beautiful intention, because when we work from our egoic mind, um, there's layers and layers of past conditioning and worry and fear and socialization. But when we really hold space for that inner divine wisdom, we can live so much better. So that was beautiful, Sandra. Thank you. And Maggie, what do you think,
Oh, my
Maggie?
turn. Yay. Linda, Sandra, and anybody who's listening, my biggest word still is, you have it in your name, is love. Love, is called for love. And next to it is authentic. I have gone, I think all of us, we're going through, I don't know, but many, I've been talking to, everybody's looking inwards, involution. And what I have learned over the past few years is that um, we got to be authentic to ourselves, speak our truth. And speaking truth doesn't mean, other times you're lying. Far away from that. It means that I used to be like shy and afraid to say what I really wanted to say. And I'm very big on that. You got to speak, you got to stand up for yourself, you got to, just be very authentic. And more than ever before, that word resonates with me because I express that through my art, through capturing people. And you know how I'll say this, because this is in the world of filters, and filters equals mask. And it's like, especially in business, like in art, like when I create fine art pieces, it could be fantasy, you can be whoever you want to, it's an art, right? It's an expression of some kind. But in business portraits, it should be authentic, it should be real, because I think it's like the new luxury today. It's being real, expressing yourself, because it connects us on a different level. And that kind of energy, and combined with love, is huge for me. It's like it's just like, it's a beautiful energy that just brings us to a different, you what do you call this, just like a different level, different frequency altogether. So that's
Yeah.
me at
Yeah.
this point in my life.
Yeah. And I love how you say at this point in my life, because we're always evolving. We're
Yeah.
always evolving. And well, I just going to your portraits, isn't it timeless you have in?
Yes.
Because timeless is, well, don't they say that the only thing that's really true and lasts is what never dies? And so that's what your art, I think, Maggie, does, because it captures the spirit, the soul, the heart of a person and a situation.
I love that. And I really like that you said, in an era of digital and filters, but a filter is really a mask. And I saw that my kids had downloaded a certain app where you can put all these filters on your face. And I remember they were playing on my phone and they were showing it to me. And there was this one like glam or makeup. And oh boy, right? All of a sudden there was no fine lines and I had makeup. And at first glance, it was like, wow, vavoom, right? Is that me? But then I was like, it doesn't even look like me though, And I think exactly what you said, Maggie, like even these filters on the surface, they put this, this beauty or whatever, but then if you lose who you are and, these laugh lines that are me, then it's not authentic.
May I add something to this?
Of course.
Somebody brought this to my attention, said it, like a friend that's very real, like, she always speaks her truth. And I just admire that, love it. She said, this is how she said it literally. When you see these dolls or these super looking women doing business, and then they show up and like you meet with them in real life, and all of a sudden, what? 30 years older, ugly, scary. So how are you really portraying yourself? You're scary. You're not being, you're being completely someone else. So who is it really to impress online when you're looking like, it's like literally those masks, those filters that will change the shape of your face, that will make you so plastic, and will make the eyes bigger, the makeup. It's when you videotaping yourself with that through that filter, and you're putting that on social media, doesn't that feel like you're actually lying? And why? For whom? Who are you impressing? Yourself, the people that are gonna run away when they're gonna see you afterwards in a real situation. So who's justice to whom? I'm speaking my truth, or like my experience, and this is why I am so big now to say, okay, you can use the tools. They're there for us. It's like when I paint a painting, I will create whatever I need to do. When I'm editing, I will use it to perfect wrinkles in the suit. Maybe perhaps, your hair didn't work that day. Hair is something a stylist can do. We women, make the hair nice, curly, straight, whatever you want. So we could create more volume or whatever. These things, they're just like things that you can do yourself really in real life. But they were, let's say you were in a hurry, we couldn't do it and whatever. So I'm here to do that. Okay. I'm speaking business portraits. And but to completely put this mask on, the filters, like I would just beg people, don't do that, please. No, let's just like stop, all of us. Like technology gave this to us and people just went overboard with it. These are my 2 cents.
It's so interesting because, I had a mindset when we came on this podcast together, and I just feel like the theme now has changed my mindset, that filters is this theme for this podcast, because authenticity, surrender, being present, love, those are such powerful and important essences that can't really be masked. If you meet somebody, I don't know about you, but I'm very intuitive, and they are not true. They can look the part, they can act the part, but their heart is not radiating the part. And so, are they really shining forth what is inside them? And I don't go on dating apps, but I've heard from other people that this is the case in dating apps, because you try to have an image, and then when you show up, you don't look like that image. And so we are actually doing a disservice to ourselves. And of course, this began with society's pressures, but now we've not only instilled it in our own age group, but even the young people, you know, they're afraid to not look perfect. You know, I have to sometimes, if I'm taking photos of people, I have to show them the photo to get approval to then share it. And so this is a really big, actually, discussion.
Yeah. It's a big problem that we should resolve somehow and tell people that today is like the trend now is be authentic. I'm going to bring up one name, if I may. It's a beautiful actress from the past that I thought she was so stunning always. And today she's the biggest advocate, like for having no makeup on, the hair, whatever. It's a Pamela Anderson. I don't know if you've seen rotating, like why I'm loving, because true natural beauty. But I'm not against makeup and hair. I love it. I'm an artist and you know, it's for there for everybody. But you know what? That's not when all of a sudden you just like through those filters that just change you completely. You don't even look the same. And I don't know what the purpose of this plastic skin is. That mask, I cannot look. When I see another filter of that kind, I just can't look. I just can't. I'm like that, you know, because you want to see the real person. That's when it's inside them, and the beauty usually comes and shines from within. That real beauty that you're referring to. And when combined together, it's powerful. So it's almost like we need to do a rebirth, renaissance, you know, like the dark ages. We're coming out of some strange era of time that conditioned us to something that's fake, that's not real. We need to bring that back. And it's just beautiful, and it's to be celebrated, and to you know, combining the beauty from within, the soul, to be in alignment with the soul, and in combination of all, but not to exaggerate or overdo in one area. You know what I'm saying? And especially area that just leads to disaster. I'm sorry, because that leads to mental illnesses. You know, and you're like, it's really bad. It's and you're hiding behind something, and then you know what, you're gonna hide from people, and then from the whole world. When really that's not the idea here.
You both reminded me of something pretty profound I came across when my daughter was young. And I was so grateful. Someone forwarded it, a note, or it was like a mental health recommendation. And it said, if you have little girls, especially, and I'm sure this applies to everyone, when you see them, refrain from always commenting about their appearance first thing. So you think about it, you see a little girl, how cute are you? Look at that pretty dress. Oh my goodness, you're
Right.
beautiful. And it said, make sure, and not all the time, of course, you're still going to comment on the appearance, but they said focus more on the traits so that this little girl grows up knowing that her value and her worth is not just in the physical appearance. So, it would be how clever you are, or I love that bright smile, or, I love your energy as you walked into the room. And this is something actually we were taught, and I say this, you guys, Meg, you've heard this before in my fitness classes. I always, before the holidays and stuff, I tell people, especially in the gym setting, refrain from commenting on anyone's shape. Even if you think you're doing something well, you think it's encouraging to see someone at the gym and say, wow, you've lost weight, you look great, right? And when we were done training, our dietitians brought someone into clinic from sick kids, and they said, when you put worth again on you lost weight, you gained weight, it gets in that person's head that their value's on their weight gain. And they tell us all these devastating stories. People who are struggling with eating disorder, how that can put that pressure on them. Or someone who now doesn't go to their family gatherings or whatever because they've gained some weight. And wow, everyone celebrated the weight I lost last year. I'm so ashamed now to go, and I look different. So the general room I try to raise my children to do is don't comment on anything, on somebody that has to do with their appearance as much as you can, as a general thing. Wow, you look great. You look sharp. You are beautiful versus, wow, look at those cheekbones and that tiny waist and that bubble butt, right? So you see how one was very overall celebrating your appearance as a human, but not making you feel like your value is in your assets, so to speak, or your attributes.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that's so powerful. I often say um, people are beautiful inside and out,
Yeah.
but it's inside first. And I had said on the last episode, episode 84, that I had a family friend who was like a grandmother to me. And she always used to say, "Oh, Linda, you're so beautiful." I was like 10, 12, 13, somewhere around that age, very self conscious. And I would think, no, no, I'm not. I got this, I got that. And I realize only now through maturity and through growing older and hopefully growing wiser that she was really talking about my heart. And I really appreciate that now. But it's a temple. Our body, our physical body is a temple. Some people call it a spacesuit. There's different names for it. I call mine a temple. I honor my temple. I take care of it, but it's not who I am. It's the heart and soul inside of it.
Not your identity. It's where you reside, kind of thing.
But thank goodness we have Maggie to take care of or to photograph. But that comes out of ourselves.
The word beautiful. I refer to this, and you, Sandra, and you, Linda. You mean it always the same way, because I know you both, and we sharing that beautiful energy, and we know exactly what that means. That goes deeper inside here, and that's the whole picture because it shines, and now, Sandra, to what you said about complimenting the dress or whatever, it's nice. It could be secondary, but what if like we replace it? And I don't know how it just happened. I'm paying attention more to many things, and one of the big things is like when I see somebody, I say, "Oh my God, I love your energy."
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful compliment too?
Beautiful.
Right. Cause that and Sandra, like when like I come to your class and I go, my God, I needed Sandra in my life.
And same, it's just all love, right? I love you. I'm so happy to see you. You are a beautiful human,
Yeah.
Beautiful
that kind of
human.
thing.
That
Yeah.
word, that's what it means, yeah?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean a filter on my face or makeup
Yeah.
or something.
Is that a new mascara? No,
That's no
exactly. No, it's
mascara. Yeah,
no,
coming
I'm
to
laughing. It's the general. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like it's all about that beautiful insight, the energy and everything. And I think it's like soul. It's a soul. It's everything about to do with the soul for me.
And you find that these people gravitate to each other. Linda, we said that when we met. Like, so for your listeners, Linda, that might not know the whole backstory. So I know Maggie because she was coming to my classes at the gym, and I'll ask you guys to fill in how you know each other. But I came to know Linda when I was talking to Maggie about my story and the loss, and I was telling her the public speaking is filling my soul, whether it's a company or a church or wherever. And she said, "You've got to talk to my friend Linda," right? And she said, "I think you guys would love each other. You are so similar." And she connected us. Linda, you left me a voice note, which I love, by the way, because an intro text, of course, is fine. But when you hear somebody's
Yeah.
energy, Linda just left such a lovely, I'm a friend of Maggie's, a friend of Maggie's is a friend of mine. I'd love to hear more. And, the rest is history, as they say. I've incorporated you both as my lifelong sisters and deep friends, who I love so much. But it was incredible how our energy, and then we shortly after, you guys came to the book launch for me, and we went to the Linda's a beautiful celebration of her anniversary of her podcast, and we went and got our pictures done by Maggie, and it's just been so full circle and so lovely.
And that's a surrender, Sandra.
Yes.
Like surrendering to just like, okay, just like an openness. Like we don't know always what's best for ourselves, but when we surrender to that deeper wisdom, then there's no effort. It's just a beautiful orchestra, a symphony of coming together.
Yes, a symphony of, I want to write that down, a symphony of coming together. I was trying to tell my husband the other day how I've been feeling these few months, and I found there's certain avenues I'll pray about something and it is just like shut down, shut down, shut down. Like, and I'm past trying to force that. I'm like, okay, and then you'll find a different path or opportunity that's just opening and opening and opening, maybe waiting for your surrender or your openness or your welcoming of that, right? I don't always know what's best for me. I don't always have all the answers, and that
Sandra,
humility.
it's called alignment.
Alignment. Yes, exactly.
Another word for it, but
I love
we
that.
feel it, we know it, we know exactly what that is.
Yes. And I think we've all been in a position, everyone listening, all of us here, where sometimes you want something so bad, but you just see like it is not coming together, right? Like that alignment is not there. And I think once you learn that experience, you can really recognize when something is aligned or when something is intentional, because you know what that resistance feels like when it's not for you, right?
Absolutely. And I just want to share that's so beautiful before we end our wonderful time together, which I think we could go on forever. That Maggie and I were introduced by Paul Likuski, who has now passed, and I think of him often. So he introduced us, and I'm so really grateful that he did. And we have spent many times together. And so that's how I know Maggie. And then, of course, through Maggie is Sandra, and it's just a beautiful snowball.
I love that.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. Okay, so thank you. Thank you. I do want all the listeners to know how they can reach you and what you offer, because there's a lot of love and really, really beautiful high energy here. So, how can people reach you? What do you offer? Um,
Go ahead, Maggie.
Oh, you go first.
Oh, okay, sure. So for me, you can reach me. My website is www.stgwellness.ca. You can also find me on Instagram at stg_wellness. Sandra Tadros Guirguis is my name. You'll find me anywhere. And my main service is public speaking. So you have a group of people, small or large. You would like to have someone come give a keynote, a workshop, anything about a variety of wellness topics, mental health and burnout, exercise and movement, improving your sleep. And these are all medically evidence-based strategies, as we call it. So this is kind of best practice in the guidelines, looking at the holistic person. So you've got the clinical pharmacist angle and the fitness angle and the spiritual angle. And I try to bring it all together to give practical, helpful tips in a very engaging way.
oh, thank you, Sandra.
Thank you.
And Maggie.
And myself. So my business name is Fotografia Boutique. Two F's, no PH's. That's the easiest way. And it's such an international photografia. It's Polish, Portuguese, and international. So it's fotografiaboutique.ca is the website. But I go under Maggie Habieda, Habieda, and I capture timeless portraits. And I'm very big on branding now for businesses, helping people capture the best for their business, because social media is so big that portrait speaks before you do. So it's very crucial, and you don't need zillions of pictures that you cannot find on your phone. You just need one iconic photo. So I do invite you to check my social media under Maggie Habieda mainly, and also my studio is in Oakville on Cornwall.
Yeah, Oakville, Ontario, Canada, which we
Yes.
are all in very close proximity to. So these beautiful women are, and when I mean beautiful, I mean heart,
Knew what you
complete,
meant.
big heart. You will feel it instantly if you did not already feel it here listening to them. And so I want to thank everyone for listening to A Call for Love. I really do believe in the power of love, loving kindness. If we can be more loving and caring and kind, that is a huge ripple out into the world that truly needs it. So, from my heart to yours, namaste, everyone.
Thank you.
Love it.